All right, what's up guys? I am coming to you from my very messy office today. I just got out of the shower and I'm about to go pick up my kids from school, but I wanted to try to film this video before I did that because I've been meaning to get around to filming this video, but I haven't had a chance to. So today we are talking about the other side of my business, which is doing art markets and the handmade items that I make for art markets. So we're gonna dive into what I made last year, what I made this year, what I've made combined, and kind of talk about the downsides, upsides, and everything in between. So with that being said, let's do this. All right, so I have this handy dandy little notebook I bought off Amazon that I have been keeping track of every single market that I do, what I sell, and how much I sell it for. And so I'm gonna give you the rundown really quick of the overall totals, because I think as an artist, especially if you're doing art markets, it's very difficult to not feel down on yourself or kind of like a failure when you're not doing well at art markets, especially in Q1. Q1 is by far the worst time to try to earn significant money as a maker, unless you have something that's in high demand, because if you're anything like me, the things that I create are best for gifts. People usually are not going to be buying it for themselves, they're going to be buying it for someone else, whether it's birthdays, Christmas, anniversaries, Mother's Day, Father's Day, you name it, that's what people are looking for later on in the year. With that being said, summer historically is also usually a very slow time for a lot of businesses. So I have found that I need to kind of find that sweet spot in between to be able to kind of cover me for the times that I know are going to be slow. So with that being said, let me give you some totals. I started doing art markets last August, at the end of August. And from last August, 2023, until now, which is almost the end of March 2024, I have earned $8,717.10. The total for Q4, however, of that $8,717.10 was $7,102.10. So for Q1 2024, meaning from January, February, and March, because I don't have any more scheduled for this year or for this month. So this is my month end total or quarter end total, $1,615. Now this number is a bit of a disappointment for me. I'm gonna be honest. I have felt more often this quarter than any time in the 14 years that I've been running my business, like I have got to pivot or figure something out because I have a van payment to make. My husband generally pays all the bills. I pay the van payment. It used to be that my income was extra. We'd put it away for things like new tires on the cars or potential vacations with the kids or Christmas or whatever. But we had an incident with one of our vehicles. We ended up having to buy another one. It was kind of at the height of 2020's markup with vehicles. So in order to replace the van with the exact same van that we already had was going to cost like $12,000 more. So, and that van was paid off, which sucked. So now we have a lovely van payment, which is my responsibility. So with that being said, I want to kind of break down the different art markets that I've gone to, kind of what their clienteles are, and kind of give you an example of how things can be very hit or miss. So for example, the first art market I did was August 26th of 23. It was at a bar in Jack's Beach. And with that one, I sold $790 worth of products. And that was where I learned that all the earrings that I had made were not what people wanted. They wanted the charcuterie boards with the resin poured over it, which is what I was making. And I had had those sitting around for a while and had just given up on trying to sell them because selling online had gotten to be where shipping was so expensive I couldn't justify the cost of it anymore. So, and my goal was to always give my clients or whoever was purchasing from me free shipping. And so, you know, I tried to compensate for some of that loss with upping the price of the product, but then they got to be too expensive for people to want to buy. So that's where that landed. Anyhow, fast forward to or going back to August 26th, I decided on a whim to take those boards, and they all sold, like all of them. And so I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I hardly sold any earrings. So the next one was September 21st, got rained out. I sold $40 worth and basically left because it was a downpour. And again, at the beach. The next one was back at that same bar that I did in August. I did $405. And let's see here, the UNF market day. So I started doing the UNF markets that they hold every Wednesday. That one has been very hit or miss for me. I realized that I had to really lower the prices and offerings of what it was that I was offering to them at the college market, because they were not interested or could afford the things that I was selling at these other markets. So I started kind of focusing on stuff that college kids would want, like relatively inexpensive mugs, cufflinks, earrings, necklaces, keychains, that kind of thing. So with that one, I did 180, which I figure was a good day. The next one was at another art walk at the beach, did 325 that day. Another one, which is at a big community here in Jacksonville, did 600 that day. And then that same bar that I've now given you two lists at, two prices that not prices, two income earning amounts at, I did 1,045. That one has always been a very good one for me. And then I had another one, 452, this one, 583, this one though, 265, then back up to 740. Then down to 115, then down to 235, or up to 235, then 246, then up to 751, then 330. And that is the end of Q4 23. Now, those are all nice. Those all make it worth it to me. Now, that $7,000 some odd dollars is not pure profit. In that time, I had to purchase all the supplies. I do a lot of resin and woodworking stuff, so I had a lot of tools. I started doing lathe work, so I had the cost of the lathe and all the accessories that went with it, the wood, the resins. Of course, the cost of doing the markets themselves is a lot as well. So that was not pure profit, but it was certainly a nice boost into the holiday season to kind of set the stage for what I thought I would be earning by doing these throughout the year. But then Q1 started. I did $85. $67, $327. I was okay with that. $214, $78, $403. That's been the highest one. That was a good one. $130, $65, then $60, then $186, and then a whopping $0. Is that 100? No, I'm sorry. That's 86, not 186, 86. So the last one I did not make a single sale. So that shows you the huge difference between Q1 and Q4. Q4 obviously is going to usually be higher anyway, but I figured even if I came down $2,000 and could average about $5,000 a quarter, well, that's not bad. $20,000 as a part-time / full-time artist, and I get to make and do the things that I want to do in life. Not bad. However, Q1, being that I have only done $1,615, is kind of frustrating because that's not enough to pay my van payment for 3 months. So of course we had to dip into savings. And while we can afford to do those things, I am disappointed because I know it's not my product. I know it's not my pricing. The products and pricing are the exact same as they were last year. So there's not really a whole lot of difference there. It really comes down to Q1. Everybody does the no spend January. There's everybody coming down off Christmas, or they just, took a vacation for Christmas that was expensive. Nobody's wanting to spend money in January. Come February, you have Valentine's Day. But again, people aren't spending the way that they do in the last quarter of the year. So they're not looking to spend a lot of money, especially on gifts, because they just spend a lot of money on gifts in in December. So then you have March starting to come along. People are loosening up a little bit, but they're also going on vacation for spring break. So I'm looking forward to this next quarter to see how this next quarter does, because I can almost be assured that summertime is going to be very slow. And with that being said, and I know I've been talking for 10 minutes now, and it's been the entire time. I don't like being outside in summers in Florida. It's too hot, it's too humid. It can monsoon 1 minute and then be hot, steamy, and bright sunny the next minute. And so I don't have any intention of actually doing these markets in the summertime. In my garage, that's where I do all my resin and woodwork. Not going to be able to do that in the hotter months because it's too hot in the garage to do that, and I'd have to keep the door shut. Even then it's still hot, but I can't do all that in there because I don't have a good system of collecting dust. So I also don't have an air conditioner in there. So that leaves me with, what do I do to pivot? And in this case, what I chose to do was reopen my Etsy store and again, really give it the push and all the effort that I could going into it to try to prepare for it. So I wanted to at least get this out on the table so that you could know where my streams of income are coming from, and you can kind of get a bigger picture for what I'm going for between both sides of the business. If you are interested in having me talk more about the process of art markets, things that are important, trends that I've noticed, shopper trends that I've noticed, that sort of thing, I would be happy to record a video on that, but I don't want to waste your time or my time if that is not something that you're interested in. So I hope that this video has helped you to see Q1 sucks and the art markets are really a great place to earn some extra cash. Are you going to be doing $3,000 days? I don't know. I suppose it depends on what you make. There are some people that I know whose price points are usually between $5 and $20, and they really can make bank on those days for their business. But what making bank is for them and their business may only be $400. Whereas for me, it cost me almost $400 just to buy my resin kits, my 2-gallon resin kits. So, you know, I need to be selling $700 to $1,000 at least just to make up that cost and make my van payment. So I'm hoping that this inspires you to maybe look for different revenue streams for those times. Sales, of course, can be very difficult because there's an ebb and flow to everything. And then, of course, on top of that, I hope it inspires you to maybe look into art markets if you are a handmade business that is looking to make some extra income. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of giving up your weekends or your evenings, and then, of course, the work in between. But if it's something that you love, then it doesn't really feel like work. So I have really loved being able to do this. It's right up my alley. And actually sitting at the computer for so long has really been difficult for me because I haven't sat as like an office kind of desk situation for 15 years. So I actually just ordered a standing desk so that I could do more as I go into the hotter months, as I'm going to be inside doing more work on my computer. So anyway, this video is far longer than I had hoped it would be, but I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again in another one very soon.